Both sides?
No, it's moving. It's moving backwards
okay,
now.
good.
Yeah.
It's I think it's just a matter of the recording for the right people at the right time. I think Rounder, has the appearance from the outside is that right now they're more interested in running it as a business, which is good. But I wish they would run it as a business with music that they like. Or maybe their tastes have changed. I mean, I don't know. It's I'm not so sure we belong on the label right now, the way that it is. Look at the Rounder Showcase now, who's playing it. I don't see how our music fits into that.
Right. Were you involved with them when the John Verant era began?
Yeah.
Did you ever meet him or have any contacts or sense his presence?
Yes. What is the John Verant era? What does that mean to you?
It means to me some of the things you just said. We're going to focus more on the bottom line and the way this business is run as a business. That's what it means to me in a nutshell.
Okay.
So what's
John Verant negotiated, our first Rounder contract, the first 4 records, was a 5-page contract.
Right.
The John Verant contract, which the first one was a Kate and Katie one, and then the second one was the one for the Utah Phillips album. It was, I don't know, 14, 18 pages, something like that. I was able to read it, read through it and mark all the questions of what, and find the clauses with no verbs in them and all the rest of the stuff. And I called John Verant. He spent 3 hours on the phone with me. That's kind of unusual.
Yeah.
He did, he would spend the time with me. He would bend on certain things and not on others. The stickiest point was that the same budget for 4 records. If I had accepted that, we would still be on Rounder. Because the budget that they offered, I think, was $7,500, something like that. Which we were able to do.
Can I change? Okay, now I'm back on the green light. And go ahead.
Okay.
So you're talking about John Verant, and he spent the time with you 3 hours.
I think they offered
$7,500,
something like that, $7,500. And we proposed the Carter Family album. First, they didn't want to do it. They had the Carter Family themselves, and they wanted to reissue that Red Clay Ramblers, Flying Fish, Meeting in the Air, and maybe that's enough. So they were lukewarm on the idea. Finally, they said they wanted more to it, but they offered us $5,000. I didn't think we could do it for that, especially because we don't. The only time we ever recorded digital was the Utah album, and it's noticeably worse sounding than the others. It's thin and harsh by comparison. I just love to record an analog, and that means it's more expensive. That tape is really cheap. Anyway, had I accepted that, we probably would have done all, we'd have another 4-album deal on them, and with them for $7,500 though is not a very, very big budget. We'd pretty much have to just be a duet on all of them. Couldn't hire other musicians and all the rest of that stuff. But as it is, Carter Family album was not expensive to make. I think it was 5 or 6.
So other than the contract, was there another, you talked to John Verant for 3 hours, that had to have been different from talking to Ken. I mean, was there a difference in, Ken has been working with this music as a fan first, and then Ken's been immersed in this music since the 60s, as just part and parcel of his being.
I was impressed
that John different in that respect?
Yeah,
that he wasn't.
I was impressed that he would talk to me for that long. I mean, what lawyer will talk to a musician for 3 hours? Okay. I thought that I think it's bullshit to have a clause that says your royalty rate will be this percent of the total sales. And then 5 pages later, total sales are defined as 90% of total sales. And then 4 pages later, that 90% is actually 90% of after the packaging charge has been, why don't they just say what it is? My acoustic disc contract is 1.5 pages.
And what I was going to ask, what's your Appleseed contract like?
Appleseed contract is completely absurd. But I just renegotiated. I mean, it had stuff in there like, okay, I'm going to get this right. Artists may not record any songs that they're doing on this project for a period of 5 years.
Oh, in any other context?
No, didn't say that.
Oh, okay. You just.
So I responded. I said, "What this means? You're telling me I can't record it for you again."
Yeah.
Is what the meaning of the sentence is, and you're telling me that I can't record it for some future use. And what you really mean is that no versions of this song can be released for anybody else for a period of 5 years after the release of this album. Why do you care if I record it and store it? What's it to you? Why should you forbid me from recording a song? The response was, this is a quote, okay, 2 years.
It's a mentality, just horse trade on any.
No focus.
Yeah.
I think he's somebody who's too busy to read the fine print. No bad intent, just not focused.
Do they sell your records? Does Appleseed do a different job in selling your records than Rounder did?
It's too early to know.
Better, worse, or just different? I guess. Okay.
Because I've been working with Josh Michael, and he works through Red House. I mean, it goes through Red House. My contact with Jim has been very limited. Only a few telephone conversations and email conversations. They've been congenial enough, but he's sometimes been non-responsive, like this. Okay, 2 years.
Right.
I don't think you're going to publish this. What are you going to do with this?
Yeah, but theoretically, do you want me to go? You want to go off for a moment?
No, I mean, it's all right. I mean, I don't think he understands. I don't think he has a business sense. I don't think he understands you can't sell secret records.
Right.
There's not only one way to let people know about it, but you got to talk it up one way or another. And Josh is great at that. But he's, how long he'll be with him, I don't know.
Now, as you said yourself, for whatever reasons, and I guess what do you think? The ballad album got a lot of attention, and it's an oddball album from a commercial
And
standpoint.
it got radio play.
Yeah.
I'd never imagined that. 12-minute songs.
Do you know how that happened? I mean, was something driving that other than the label? How did that happen?
It's a serendipity. Josh wanted it.
Uh-huh.
Appleseed wanted it.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to do it. I used really good quality 2-inch analog recording tape. You don't need 2 inches for solo singing, but man, it just sounded so good. I sang the best I could. I was inspired. I did things in the studio that I had not planned at all. It was very, very in the moment.
Right.
I sang, the song "All the Wind and Rain." All the poetry came to me. I'm writing on the bar, over. I mean, just all right. Went and recorded it, for better or worse. But it was.
But do you know what drove the press? I mean, there was a lot of play on that record. Do you have any thoughts on why?
Have you ever seen the press on the Jody and Kate Rounder albums?
Less of it, yeah.
Oh God, it's really good.
Yeah.
Really, really, really good.
I think I'm more attuned. Right at this point in my life with what I'm doing, I pay more attention to what I see. I was kind of watching the press on that. I subscribe to more stuff now, too.
I just think it was the right, being on Rounder then was the right thing at the right time. This is the right thing at the right time. Maybe we'll be on Rounder again. I don't know.
To people, you're not
or some other label that doesn't exist now.
But you didn't go playing. Did you go playing out much with the stuff on that ballad record?
No, I would just do a few. I did a few solos, not much, and mostly I would just sing a few in the context of a Jody and Kate show.
Okay.
I would just bring a chair out and.
Right.
another set of microphones.
We're given the press on that record, which was, for what it was, a lot. The reviews were all good, and you got the award. Were people asking you to come out and do some of the stuff on that record for shows or festivals? Were you getting...
I didn't get any
Okay.
phone calls come as a solo.
Okay.
Not one.
Okay.
No.
You always done your own booking all through the Kate and Jody era? Have you ever had an agent?
We had an agent
You
twice.
had Randy Pitts here.
We had Randy for 1 year,
Uh-huh.
and somebody else for another year. During those 2 years, I noticed that our that we had to pay more income tax. And we made more money, and the reason is because we were working less. Because we were working less, our overhead was less. We had no hotel bills, no plane bills, or something like that. I was just at home teaching,
Right.
doing a few local gigs. But that has gotten better over the years. Our fees are higher now. It's easier to get. It's not a problem. Most places that draw 200 people, drawing 5 is very difficult. I don't think we can draw 5 anywhere. For few places, maybe.
Right.
If there's nothing else going that night. We're not enormously popular. We're just enormously popular with a few people who like us.
Right. Have you
Yeah.
seen any changes in the venue industry? I don't know how I want to phrase it. Have performing opportunities changed, shifted over the course of this time you've been doing this? I don't even want to say since the Rounder record, but over the course of all the while you've been playing out. You've been Jody Stecher, traditional musician, different guises, playing out there for a long time now. How have the opportunities shifted at all? The expectations of promoters, anything? Is any of that changed?
The one thing that's changed the most is my perception of what it is that I'm doing.
Okay.
Because what I used to do is I just get out there and sing and play with no notion of what it would be like to be in my audience.
Okay.
It wasn't until I looked at it from their point of view. Duh, what am I doing here, I'm asking these people to sit still for a certain amount of time. Maybe I could shape what it is that I'm doing. I've become much more intuitive to feel my audience, where they're at. Do I make the set go on longer? Do we shorten it? Kate has a sense of this too. We do have a set list, but sometimes we change it. Like, let's drop that song. Let's do this one instead. We need to enliven the energy. I'm much more aware of shaping the show to the audience, and to be aware that it's a show, and we're two people who are not really showmen. So we have to find the part of our personalities that is entertaining. So it's usually spontaneous humor. It's usually talking about things that have happened that day and making the audience feel comfortable. Venues themselves. Well, when I first started out, we didn't have the word venue. I didn't hear that till 1980. I didn't know what it was. I can't tell, Oh, it's not turning?
Well,
No, it's turning.
It is, yeah. I think that
The question is about how venues have changed.
Right.
See, it's hard for me to know whether the changes I see now are changes in what I'm noticing or real changes. It all in all seems more professional.
Okay.
There's more, but maybe it's just because I'm aware of microphones now. I know what each one does, what's appropriate, which I should use for singing. We're much less at the mercy of sound men than we used to be. I mean, it used to be just horrible sometimes, and we would travel several thousand miles to be humiliated by someone who just made it sound so awful. There's nothing we could do. It doesn't seem to be happening now. But I think that's I don't know if it's whether there's better sound men now. I don't think so. Actually, I just think that they just give us their better ones.
Is there more or less concern nowadays for this whole gestalt of be pure, sing authentically, is there more interest now in put on a good show and be an entertainer? Has that
The
presenters
or
audiences or presenters or there's a whole you know what I'm referring to. Whereas I love the notes on the reissue of the Hazel and Alice record where they talk about they tell the story of going to the Washington D.C. Folklore Society and. All the members of the society were pissed off because people were treating them like stars. They wanted to treat them like part of the community, and
right.
And Hazel laughed at that with me. We just wanted to get paid.
Right.
Do you see that changing among promoters, venue operators, or audience themselves? I'm really not.
They're all different.
Okay.
They're just all different. See, because we don't have a high energy, entertain you, tap dance while fiddling.
You can fulfill
that kind of show.
Yeah.
What we do instead is engage the people directly. When we're selling our records, we're often, if we're not actually taking in the money, we're out there talking to the people.
Right.
I'm occasionally signing an autograph, but mostly having conversations.
Right.
But that's been a choice, to do it that way. We dress differently on stage, particularly Kate, than we do, as if we were going to a concert. There is a stage, there is some proscenium, there's some separation there. It's different, because Kate likes it better if there's some separation. She feels a little more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I like it better if they're right on top of me.
Uh-huh.
We haven't done that many house concerts lately.
Right.
Occasionally, but that used to be my favorite.
Right.
Because of the closeness.
Uh-huh.
Just a different character, difference. Every one of them is different. Every venue is different, and every presenter is different. Basically, we just go in there and do what we do. Occasionally, somebody wants some aspect of our repertoire.
Uh-huh.
We did this Nova Scotia Bluegrass and Old Time Music Festival in Ardoise, Nova Scotia. I don't know, 8 years ago, something like that. Yeah, and the guy who had hired us, whether he was the MC anyway, he said, "Well, now, our audiences would like these songs," and he rattled off. He knew every song we recorded. If you're going to pay that much attention to us, I'm going to pay attention to him. And basically what he wanted was guitar and mandolin and duet singing. He didn't want banjo, he didn't want fiddle. I bet, what do we do best? We sing best. And so reason we use the fiddle and the banjo is to add variety to the show and to give different sounds and different colors. So we listened to him. We said, okay. And he said, well, I'm not telling you what to do, but your audience is going to like this. And he was right. It was a really memorable audience. We did Hard Times. The Stephen Foster song was our first song. Got up there, played a mandolin break. I sang a verse. Audience is polite. Kate comes in with a harmony. And as soon as we hit the first high note, the audience broke out into applause. That was the first time an audience gave me chills. I mean, it took me back to Sunset Park. It took me back, to the 60s playing for country audiences. Nova Scotia and New Brunswick have always been on all people in WWV, Wheeling Jamboree, used to go play up there and in Maine. They listen in a different way. And they love the singing. So they had a particular agenda. They wanted to hear duet singing. They didn't pay any attention to the mandolin and guitar breaks. They weren't at all interested, which is different than a lot of other places. We took, you know the Irish band Altum?
I know they are. Yeah.
We took an inspiration from them in two things about what they do is fast instrumentals and slow songs. Because, you know, Kate can't do fast songs. She feels silly. It's just not, but you know, she's got, you know, she can play square dances, she can play fast, and that's okay. So we put the pizzazz in the instrumentals. I play a few guitar flat picking tunes, just, and mind you, I love all that stuff. I like doing it, but with Kate, why should I be doing anything but sing? I mean, that's what the two of us do together that's different. And in most individualistic, the pairing of these particular two people is for us to sing in harmony. I'm not going to flat pick with somebody else. I mean, I do, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But sometimes we have to do that. We'll you know, so that was a good answer. The other thing is that we looked at how they presented themselves, which was as contemporary 20th, now 21st century people playing music from an older time with that's still viable in a way that suited who they were. We've never gone for the bib overall straw hat kind of thing. We've never, people project all sorts of nonsense on us. You know, I'm surprised that I have a computer. You know, and Kate works in a law firm 3 days a week as a bookkeeper. How come we're not growing our own vegetables? Well, we have sandy soil for one thing in San Francisco. We sing the kind of songs we do because we like it, and we sound good doing it. And I think we'd sound silly singing certain of the other ones. We've done a few songs by singers-songwriters, new writers, and we were on shakier ground there sometimes. And I think we did a good job with Our Town, but some others, I don't know. I mean, I hear, you know, traditional singers from other places who've made pop records, and I'm not overly impressed.
There's a panel here at the Folk Alliance conference on Saturday, I think, and it's on a subject that has been amusing me more and more, and it's about traditional musicians and singer-songwriters. How do we bridge the divide?
Oh,
what do you think of that?
That's
whole?
A really important thing, but whether you can have a meeting on it is another thing. And
What do you think of the existence of a divide to begin with? Why is it such a hot topic around this place?
Now,
year after year.
Talking about Jody and Kate's boring. This is interesting. Okay, now. Why are Utah Phillips songs, so many of them, the ones we recorded anyway, Peter Rowan songs, to some extent Tim O'Brien songs, Iris DeMent songs, so much better than what's being turned out by most of the so-called singer-songwriters? I think the reason is because they've heard and know the older music. Being tapped in to what several hundred years, in some cases thousands of years. Most of the traditions aren't much older than 1,000 years, I don't think, but it goes back of all the people who made it, you know, thousands and thousands of people. It's bound to be stronger and more powerful than something that comes out of your own individual imagination. I remember as a kid looking up the word idiot in a dictionary, and the definition was a private citizen who does not hold office. But it points at something. An idiot is somebody not involved in the public, in the greater body of humanity. An idiot is somebody in their own world. And what you get with so much of this singer-songwriter says, I know it's a funny word, to me it sounds like something made by the sewing machine company. Travel, the songs come out. It is fair to middling, sometimes good poetry, sometimes bad poetry, not bad words, with no music. It's just, you can't hum it, you can't remember it. There's some clever guitar playing sometimes, but it doesn't stir anything in me that's primal, that's deep, that has to do with my general humanity as opposed to this person's specifics. It's not just the words. You can write a universal song about your individual situation.
Everyone loves and is lonely. That's what
Right.
singer-songwriters say. Oh, but the story of my love affair is universal because everyone's had that love affair experience.
But it's, so much of it is so boring. I like the ways that traditional musicians of many cultures sing. There's something, and play, there's something in the timing, there's something in the pacing, and the sounds that are being made, the way the vowels are used, that it touches me, it moves me, sometimes it soothes me, sometimes it stimulates me, it does different things, but it's completely apart from the clever and intellectual things and ideas, and not it's more in feelings and that's not even the best word either. It's maybe I like music because music can express things that can't be expressed in words. I can't find the right words now. I'm sure there are words, but to say what I mean.
Putting aside the words, musically, instrumentally, is there something there that goes beyond your own subjectivities, your own likes?
Something where?
Something in a musician that knows an older repertoire, that has listened to a lot of different styles. Can you hear that?
Yeah, that's there's someone who, especially if they've heard a lot of, there's a richness there, and
I think there'd be a musical vocabulary there.
That too. That too.
How do you think you can have a meet? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And there's also an intelligence, certain kind of intelligence of someone who's listened a lot and has absorbed the stuff, and a kind of a sense of humor. There's something about carrying forward something that you received and absorbed that me is readily, I can perceive it as being of more value than something that is disconnected with anything except for jingles for selling soap, which is what most of the singer-songwriters are writing. Now you're talking about the divide. The divide is that your average troubadour, what have you, singer-songwriter, has not heard the old music. They don't know how to listen to it because they don't know how to listen. They don't know how to listen. People generally now don't know how to listen. They don't know how to read. They don't know how to react to anything that's more than a minute. Their attention span and their speed of their life is different. Many people who are playing bluegrass or old-time music or traditional Irish music or something are, it's going to sound harsh, what they're doing is behaving like tape recorders. They've heard something and they're regurgitating it in, I don't know, that's a bad word. They're putting it out again in the way that they heard somebody else do it, and not as themselves, and your music is going to be second rate if you do that. You can't out Tommy Jarrell, only he can do that. That's a stepping stone. It's a necessary process. You develop skill as a musician by imitating a model. You find a model. You try to sound like them. You're bound to fail, but you'll get the skill, in doing that. And if you have several models, so much the better. But at a certain point, it's going to come out of you. And that's what the singer-songwriters are doing. They're individuals. They're doing themselves as them. Unfortunately, they're not connected to the larger body of humanity. That's the gulf. The weakness in the imitative traditional musician is that it's not coming from their individual heart. It's secondary. It's shell-like, and it's hollow that way. And the singer-songwriter often is putting themselves right out there. There's some kind of directness about the individual experience. Their music sucks, and it's not nice to listen to. It's not worthwhile to listen to. That's the gulf. That's why somebody, I mentioned the people I mentioned, and there's many, many more. But Tim O'Brien's made like a new kind of music. It never existed before. There's some connection with the old stuff. He has some new stuff. Irish Dement, very, very interesting, and moving stuff, particularly early on. Mm-hmm. Who knows what'll happen next? But
have you known and played with a lot of guys who the folkies would consider the old timers, the real traditionalists?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
There's a school of journalism, it seems, that whenever they write about these people, present them as some sort of noble savage existing in some primal state of nature. I remember an essay about Doc Boggs. It might have been written in connection with the reissue of the Harry Smith School.
I can't believe the bullshit that's been written about Doc Boggs. It's just...
What's your take on some of this? I think it was Greil Marcus's essay that Mike Seeger wrote. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Fantasy. What I think is that ordinary people are capable, in certain circumstances, of extraordinary things. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And
what you're saying was that so Doc was an ordinary person. He was not some.
he was an ordinary person. No, but I remember reading this. The Greil Marcus's essay isn't the worst of them. There was another one that was criticizing it that was way off. I mean, it was insane, some of the stuff he was saying. They seem to think that Eastern Kentucky and Southwest Virginia are the only place in America where people have guns. Mm-hmm. Hey, they're shooting at each other in Oakland. Doc Boggs I didn't know. I've been, I heard him live a couple of times, but I never had a conversation with him. He was from all accounts, he had a sense of humor, and it was a brooding intellectual who had no training in using the intellect.
He didn't have the tools.
He didn't have the tools. He was very, very, very concerned about religious scruples and playing the music and the connection with his music and a very, very, very wild life when he was young, and how it all fit together. I think he was. We think about that a lot. I mean, Mike Seeger took most of what I know about him was from what Mike Seeger took.
Who have you known personally well that be of a an older traditional musician?
Fred McDowell,
Okay.
blues player, Tommy Jarrell.
Okay.
Joseph Spence.
Yeah.
Well, many people.
So none of them were surreal, spectral figures living in a state of nature?
Well, Frederick McQueen was from another planet. Man, he was... Yeah. Very, very striking person. To make music like any of these people, you have to be a little different. Yeah. Not sure what this is not something I've thought much about.
Yeah, it's not concretized terribly much. I'm just I find interesting or curious the way in which folks like Marcus and will always write about certain types of musicians who don't think are of their world, as if they are something that are in some ways not human. Although make them kind of superhuman or special, but it's still not human. These are people who don't wipe their ass in some way. It sort of gets cleaned.
I think that things like this are written by people who don't actually like music that much, or don't know how to listen to it. Yeah, the music is mysterious.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that you can't learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that there aren't gradations. And then we were talking about Ralph Stanley before.
Right.
When he's singing, he's one way. When he's not, he's another. And sometimes, in the act of making music, one can connect with forces that are not human, perhaps. Some may be less than human. A lot of it's just familiarity with the language, like you were saying. Dog Box didn't come out of nowhere.
Can I
Yeah, come over here.
turn it off for a second so that I kind of formulate this stuff?
You want me to turn it off?
Yeah, just...
Why don't we just bring this back to the concrete? I want to ask you if does you've come to a bunch of these Folk Alliance things. I know you said to me earlier you stopped for a few years and came back. It's supposed to exist to help this industry that you're in. Has it made any discernible difference to your life or music that you could articulate?
Let's begin by comparing it with another organization that I've been a member of, which is the IPMA.
Okay.
Which is a very simple organization. We're not for local Kentucky politics, but basically it exists to benefit a lot of the working bluegrass musician.
Right.
That was kind of what it started out to be anyway. I'm not sure. The Folk Alliance doesn't know what it is. Well, you've been on the board. I think it's better than it's been. But the first conference I went to was Chicago '91.
That would have been 91, yeah.
And they were voting, was a ballot. Should the Folk Alliance be an educational organization or not? So I took an informal poll. I went around asking people, what does this question mean? What are you voting on? There wasn't a single agreement. Some people thought it meant, should we teach Barbara Allen in the schools? Somebody thought, should we use the media more aggressively? I mean, it was all different things, and a vote was being taken, and the question wasn't defined. There's don't know what percentage, a significant percentage of the people, membership of Folk Alliance, particularly those who are closer to my age or older, who have a problem with making money. I have a problem with the whole business aspect of it. Again, comparing it to the IBMA, it's not an issue there. You know, it's like, yeah, we want to make more money. That's easier for me. I'm not conflicted about this.
Right.
I'm a professional musician. The more I can get paid for it, the better.
Yeah.
Especially if I can keep making the music I want to make.
Right.
Not that I mind hiring myself to somebody to play their kind of music. That's okay. I'm play on their record the way they want it. It's all right. If it would be distasteful for me, I wouldn't accept the job. So that murkifies everything. Because clearly a lot of people are here to get work. There's just a lot of murky issues. There's also a lot of though I'm in agreement on certain issues, there's something about left-wing politics that I find very smug, and there's a self-righteousness that just pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
So I stay on the periphery.
Right.
The first Folk Alliance Kate and I went to was the one in Chicago. We went to get work. That's why we went. We were selected to showcase. We got a lot of work. Almost all of it before we showcased. Our showcase wasn't all that great. It went okay. Mostly it was just people putting a face to a name, and I've been meaning to call you, I didn't have your phone number. So it was really, really useful to us. Since that time, we've made a whole lot more albums and have been touring a whole lot more and are a whole lot better known. And so the anxiety of wanting to make the most of this thing and what can I get from it has completely fallen away. I came this year because we have a new record out, so it was nice to remind people that we exist. I had such a good time in Cleveland last year, wanting nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can just feel all these people. I want this. There's a lot of want and anxiety. I just want to see some old friends, and if we can get some work, wonderful. But it didn't occur to me to bring our publicity. I didn't even bring any pamphlets or anything like that. I brought a few CDs to give out to someone if I meet somebody. I hear some good music at these things, and one of these things is the one in Tucson, is where Kate and Katie Moffat met.
Right.
It was a wonderful night of music. It was certainly worth the trip and the expense for that. An album came out of it.
Is it Chicago where you saw Iris?
Yeah. Yeah, we first...
She's disavowed all knowledge of this organization.
I don't blame her. She wasn't very well received. People basically ignored her and too strident. She sounds too much like a hillbilly.
Does the left-wing politics to you hang over this thing heavily?
Yeah.
You feel it here?
Yeah, but it's not the agenda. It's not the political agendas that bother me. I agree with them, and I'm more radical on certain things and less so on others.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the smugness that we know we're right. No, that's.
And how does it affect the industry? How does it affect the making of the music or the selling of the music? How does the left-wing overtones affect what they're trying to do in terms of
It
building
stops
an
you
industry?
from perceiving what's really there. When you have an agenda of any kind, it stops you from perceiving. It makes you insensitive. It makes you unreceptive. Makes you receptive to ideas instead of to realities.
I guess it's going to color this whole issue of what are we about? Are we here to make money or not? Because there's a lot of defensiveness and guilt about that. On some
I
people's
find
part.
that there is, and,
Yeah.
and some people are not here to make money, though. Some here, it's like a Polish joke. They're here, because they want power, right?
You know, this organization was consciously modeled on the IBMA, largely because Arminius was the architect of both
Right.
organizations.
Well, originally it was started by the Weissmans to rule the folk music world, and then they were booted
But Art
out.
did all the work,
Yeah.
And the difference between the IBMA and this is that the IBMA is inherently culturally extremely conservative. Unity is way more liberal than the rank and file there.
Mhm.
Here, Kate and Jody are probably to the right of an awful lot of the members, and it's bohos, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's pervasive and bad.
Bohos, I don't know that word.
Bohemians.
Oh.
But with a gentrified
I see.
slant to it.
And you twist vote Democrat, but have big kitchens, and nice stuff. Feel guilty about it.
Not a bad life. Do you have any more on?
I'm just getting started here.
Go ahead.
It's I can never talk quite as freely with this thing on.
Oh.
Not because I'm afraid of where it'll go, but just because I know that I'm being taped.
Okay.
What do you think about the gulf?
The gulf between, I think we've...
Traditional musicians and singer-songwriters. Never mind the politics.
I'm coming to conclude, I don't know if this directly speaks to it, I think that the academic overlays on traditional music, the idea of the folk, just end up interfering with a lot of stuff. As far as I'm concerned, it's all popular culture and stuff people do for entertainment or to express something that means something to them and that has an entertainment aspect to it. And if people would stop